Malava, Nissan Bulavinaka, Maloedele, and welcome to Rugby World Cup on Island, the show that's all about the three smallest nations competing at the global tournament in France. Of course, that's Fiji, Samoa and Tonga. Today we're coming to you from the Sireli Reef Resort and Spa in Siumu on Upolu's stunning south coast. Bit of a very special panel for this episode. We are joined by three of the greatest wingers in world rugby. They all played for different nations, different eras, and they all left their huge hand and footprints all over the international game. Of course, I'd like to introduce my co-host, part of the Tuilangi rugby dynasty, who has done so much over such a long time for not just Samoa rugby, but indeed the whole country. Of course, Manu Samoa legend, Tuilangi Alessandro Tuilangi.
Talofa.
And joining us, someone we are claiming as an honorary Pacific Islander because his playing style, his flair and creativity resonated so much with Pacific peoples. He's the father of the goose step, first Australian to play 100 caps for his country, only the second international to do so. Surely that makes him, in our eyes anyway, the greatest Australian rugby player ever. Buongiorno to the legend,
Buongiorno.
David Campese.
Thank you. G'day mates.
And we welcome back a real gentleman of international rugby who weaved his combination of pace and power in a playing career that didn't finish until he was 43. A career that included stints for the great clubs in France, a top 14 title, sevens titles for Fiji, currently coaching and developing sevens in Fiji, one of the finest flying Fijians ever. Bula to Sireli Bobo.
Bula vinaka.
Welcome, gentlemen. Nice to have you all on the show. Welcome to Samoa.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great honour to be here. I was invited a couple of years ago, but COVID got in the way, so I'm finally here.
Awesome. Now, in this episode, we're going to look forward to the quarterfinals as we gear up for the business end of the tournament. There were 20, there are now just 8. But first, let's look at the teams who are in action in a thrilling final round of pool play, beginning with the heartbreaker between Samoa and England, a gutting 1-point loss, full of crucial moments. Tuilangi, you issued a challenge last week after watching that game. How'd you see that?
Very happy. But where was that performance the last 2 weeks?
So true.
You know, I'm just hats off to the boys. The performance this last game of their campaign. You know, they put everything there. They did everything they could. So I'm just happy and you know, thank you for representing our country on the World Cup. We're all proud of you.
Yeah, and it sets a marker, for the future. That's how we want to play.
Exactly.
Kempo, what did you make of that game?
Yeah, look, I thought it was amazing that Samoa got to a great start, and you know, I think again, if they were playing the top tier countries more often, they'd be a lot better. You know, and we have seen over the last couple of years, obviously because of the Pacifica competition, you know, a lot of the players are getting that, they're playing top players all the time. And I think just the resources, now that they can compete, just hope that World Rugby decide to give, you know, more money to the Islanders, because they realise the style of rugby they play, people love to see that. You know, if they play at their best rugby, I mean, no country can compete. And Samoa, just the way they went about it was amazing. It's very shame they'd lost, because I think everyone in the world would have cheered Samoa, because no one likes English.
Including English people.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah, hard luck for the brothers, but it's off to them. You know, the kind of game they did to England, you know, we question ourselves, like, why they can't did the same thing for the past 2 games, the squad they have.
Yeah.
You know, and like Kempo said, if you can play more tier 1 team, you know, maybe something World Rugby can have a look at that for the future.
Can we talk about the controversial moments, the TMO call? I think the most Googled thing after that game was, can you call back a try after the conversion attempt?
It's just an embarrassing decision from the linesmen, or from the officials. You know, because I'm not sure if they just changed the rule for this game.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no reverse decision after you kick that conversion or penalty or try. So it's just another bad call from the official, and I'm not sure why keep happening in every island game.
It's really crucial games too.
Look, I mean, the referees are there to referee the game, the laws. That's all they're there for. No one cares about anything else. You know, a lot of people have travelled around the world, spent a lot of money to watch a game, and then all of a sudden the referee makes a mistake and then tries to cover it up.
And it happens to the World Cup, in the World Cup. I've never seen that decision in my career, you know. It's the first time I've seen it.
Yes, just for this game, they changed that rule.
Just for this game. Maybe there's something, you know, because it involves us Islanders.
Yes.
Sorry, Campo, to say that.
So we need the official to come to Samoa.
No chance.
We'll be talking about that for the next 4 years, I think. A day later, of course, Tonga played their final game of the tournament versus Romania. Great to see Ikale Tahi express themselves. Campo, you coached Tonga Sevens in 2007.
Yeah.
That was a really good performance. Look at that score.
Yeah, look, I think it was, again, you know, Romania's, I don't know who they've played to get into the World Cup. You don't hear about who qualifies how. But again, you know, I mean, even Tonga against South Africa, they scored 3 tries. No other team scored 3 tries against South Africa. That's amazing in itself, you know. So a performance like this, which is great because they needed to express themselves. Again, it's just one of those things in a World Cup, a lot of pressure. And, you know, like it was a great way to finish. So hopefully for the next World Cup, they can take what they've left in France and continue on.
Yeah. Sireli?
Yeah, like I said before, we need more high-tempo game with the T1.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe after this World Cup, if something that World Rugby can do,
Yeah.
you know, so that the next World Cup will be way better than this one.
That's right. Tuilangi, I think Manu Samoa only had 12 games in the last 4 years. The Tier 1 nations are playing at least, you know, up to 10 in a season.
Yes, I think that makes a big difference for our nations and a big team. As Campo say, we need more games to build up to this kind of big competition, and you know, just to get our team ready to go for the World Cup.
Yeah. And our final match to review was Fiji-Portugal, an incredible game, a loss, but it was enough for them to make the quarterfinals, so they'll be flying the flag for the South Pacific. Sireli, I remember you on our first episode, you warned us. You told everybody,
Yes.
do not underestimate Portugal.
Yeah, the reason I said that because I know the coach, I know the trainers. They were my trainers and coach in Berich. You know, they were one of the best coaches in Europe.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that statement. It's not about Portugal alone, but it's the coaching stuff. You know, that's why I said that you have to be wary of Portugal. You see.
A lot of lessons, but we'll talk about that for Fiji in the second half of the game. Campo, Portugal's first World Cup, a win and a draw, pretty amazing, really.
Yeah, I thought they played pretty well. They had no expectations. They went out there and they played a style of rugby, and obviously it was very humid, you could see, but they adapted quickly. I think the problem with the Fijians, again, because there's so much structure, they just kept on playing what they've been playing. You know, sometimes you've got to look at the opposition and say, well, this is where their strength is. Let's attack them there. Then they've got a weakness. And we saw their defence, the defence of the Portuguese was amazing. They knew they have to get up quick, and they did. So there was a lot of space. But Fiji kept on trying to run the ball, and in that last couple of minutes, they had a penalty 5 metres out from the try line. A couple of phases later, they're back on the 22. They're going backwards. You know, instead of actually trying to find out where the spaces were and try and run in between players, not at players. But again, Fiji are through. That's all.
Yeah. Australians would have been praying for Portugal.
Well, they would have, yes. I think Eddie's credit card would have been well used. But again, you know, Fiji deserve. They played some great rugby. But they've got to realise, they've got to turn up every game. You can't just sort of go up and down like this.
Yeah.
Now they've got to go and play England again. Like you can't, if you play like that, you're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, and of course you've spent most of your career in the Northern Hemisphere, so you know how tough those players up there are.
And they're really tough. You know, credit to Portugal, this game, they play some really good rugby. But the Fijian boys should just forget about this, look next job, look at the game next week, move forward from this, and go from there.
So let's take a look at the pools as they ended up at the end of pool play, starting with A for A. Wow, look at that. France finishing on top. The All Blacks finishing second in the pool for the first time ever in their history. Italy third, which means they'll at least qualify straight away. You'll be happy about that, Campo, for the World Cup. Let's go to Pool B. Ireland, South Africa, Scotland. Those three teams will qualify. Tonga, great to see them on the board. And over to Pool C. There you go. Wales, you've got to be impressed with Wales given where their rugby was a year ago. All sorts of industrial action, you know, not the best Six Nations. And there you go, Fiji sitting. Sireli, you must be very happy to see that.
Yes, especially after 16 years, we make the World Cup again.
Yeah.
So it's a great achievement from the bush.
That's right. And
the coaching staff.
second time they've made the quarterfinals in the professional era.
Yeah.
And Australia, at least they qualify, but they host the next World Cup, so they would have qualified anyway.
That's very lucky, huh? The qualifications would have been very difficult, I think.
Yep. And over to Pool D. Well, look at that. Top three, England, Argentina, Japan. Japan will qualify automatically. Samoa will now have to qualify for the next World Cup in Australia. But there you go, England. And Argentina showing how the benefits of playing Tier 1 nations every year. They're part of the championship. They tour in the north. And you've got to say that last game against Japan was pretty awesome. Both teams turned up and Argentina deserved that spot in the quarters. Now, of course, every week on the show, when we bring back players, we get them to connect with some part of island life. Of course, with our special guest, Campo here, we thought, well, let's just get his thoughts on being in the islands and island rugby in general, and also the state of the world game. Let's take a look.
Innes put him down with Zinzan Brook. Change of direction. Lovely Campese. Brilliant score by David Campese.
I think the first time I really played against the Tongans, the Fijians, Samoans was in the sevens. The sevens was unbelievable. They had great skills. They had a different way of playing to us. Obviously, we weren't as big and as powerful, but they used what they had. It was more about just go for it. And you can try your skills out and see how good you are. If it worked, it worked. Sometimes it didn't work. But the thing that I found is you've got to fail. No one goes through life perfect. You've got to fail. And then you just learn. Rugby's about learning, understanding. That's what part of life is. You know, you get an opportunity, you've got to make the most of it. And I think now, for the Islander teams, there's so much potential, but the resources you've got to get. I just think it's sad that over all these years, you know, that the amount of world-class players that have come out of the islands, there hasn't been enough resources. And I think that it's got to be on the same board like every other country. You know, if we can do that, as I said, we can see what they can do.
Yes.
Can I do that again?
All right, it's preview time. We are looking ahead to the 4 quarterfinals. And first up, let's talk about a game that Samoa could be in. We would have loved it. It was a great chance, but not to be. But that's Wales versus Argentina. The Pacific Islander who plays for Wales, Taulupe Faletau, won't be playing, broken arm. Born in Tonga, and the son of Kuli Faletau, who represented Ikaletahi at the '99 World Cup. He'll be hard to replace. What do you think, Tuilangi?
I've been watching the Argentina-Japan game.
Yeah.
I think I'll go for Argentina. They start playing their rugby. You know, all those fun physical game. But I'll go for Argentina.
We'll go for Argentina. You think they're hitting their straps at just the right time, huh?
Just the right time. Yes, they're hitting.
Campo, Argentina, in the past, they've always been one of those surprise teams, but since they got into Tier 1 competition, they're a lot more consistent.
Yeah.
Does that set them well up for this game?
Well, I think they've got Michael Checker as a coach as well. I know the style he wants to play. You can only play what the players' talents are. And Argentina they did well this year in the championship. I think they play very similar to two teams. They've got two very good goal kickers. And that's what I think is going to come down to. You know, they're going to get in the half, kick the goal and get out and do it again. It's not going to be a fancy game.
You think it's going to be one of those games?
Well, that's what happens now, and I think that look at England against their first game, like against Argentina, 27 points, all field goals and penalty goals, no tries. World Cup's about winning. It's not about entertaining people. Again, they've got some world-class players, but I reckon, as I said, you're losing the number 8.
Yes, it's a big loss.
You know, and he's
loss,
a really good player.
Yeah.
And the next guy will come in will be enthusiastic. Probably wouldn't have the experience. So yeah, it's going to be a close one. But I think Argentina should win.
Oh, okay. You heard it from the boys.
It's going to be a close one.
Next up, it's an absolute cracker. Insane, really. It's France versus South Africa. 2 of the top 3 teams. France have a few players from the Pacific. Prop Uini Antonio was born in Timaru to Samoan parents. Yoram Moefana and his uncle Sipi Falatea from Futuna. And hooker Piato Malvaka was born in Numia, just to name a few. It's crazy that one of these teams is going to bow out this time, at this stage of the competition.
I'll go for France.
Yeah.
You know, backed up by the home crowd.
France over South Africa. What about
France over South Africa.
Are we thinking Dupont will come back?
I wouldn't play him because if he gets injured, then he's totally out. They're probably the best style of rugby that's been played. But you are up against the South Africans. They've got Pollard back who doesn't miss goals.
Yeah.
But again, France have been in 3 World Cup finals and lost. If they can't win this one, I don't think they'll ever win. So it's a shame that you've got 2 fantastic teams playing. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see France win, but my wife's South African, so I think South Africa.
It's the sort of game we wished that would be an amazing final, Tuilangi?
Yes, of course. They're both our top teams in the world.
Yeah.
But I think I'll go for France. As Campbell said, the whole country were behind them. And they were playing some good rugby. They play from anywhere. They're that confident in that team. They can play from anywhere on the field.
Yeah.
And I think I'll go for France.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Whew. Now, there is another team from the South Pacific in the quarterfinals, a land settled by Polynesian voyagers over 8 centuries ago, became Māori in the tangata whenua of Aotearoa, New Zealand, so will happily claim the All Blacks as a Pacific team. They have a fair few Pacific Islanders in there. It's New Zealand versus Ireland. Another crazy situation where, Kempo, this is crazy that these are the top 4 teams in the world and all 4 are in 2 quarters against each other.
Well, I think the IRB or World Rugby organised it. There's going to have to get a couple of Northern Hemisphere teams in the final. And when you saw the draw, you say, I mean, you've got 4 of the best teams in the world, so you're not going to get the best because 2 of the best have got to go. So, look, I think that New Zealand started off, that lost to South Africa, then the loss to France. And what I saw was not the All Blacks of old, you know, the team that will turn up, the reserves that come on, the impact players, they didn't impact at all. Now you're playing against a defensive team who beat you last year in New Zealand. They know how to play. They're not going to let you play the way they've played. Andy Farrell's been around he's a rugby league player. He's got everyone organised. But again, if you lose Saxon number 10, you know, I'll be trying to get rid of him very early because he's one of the key players. But that's how we used to play in the old days. That was part of the game.
You target.
Well,
the
not
key
target,
player.
but, you know, in the right way.
What Campbell was saying.
In the right way. No, but I mean, it's sad that you're going to have to see 1, 2, 3 and 4 countries play on one weekend and they're gone.
Tuilangi, this is massive.
There is a hard making decision in these games because I love the way Ireland play the game and I love the All Blacks, the way they play the game. You know, but All Blacks will go right to the end, the last minute. That's how they play the game. Ireland will control the game from every situation, every set pieces, lineouts, because that's what they're good at. They're top of the world ranking for a reason. They control the game very well. But if New Zealand play their normal rugby, you know, the flair of the All Blacks, use their skills and play the right position of the field, right area of the field, they will got this one.
Yeah. And do you agree with Campo? Would you target Sexton?
That's the target, mate.
Yeah.
That's the game plan.
Yeah.
Run all the Island boys to him. Chase him around. Wherever he stands, sit. Is that right, Campo?
It's got to be legal though.
Ireland is playing really well now at the moment. So, like you said, 2 of the best team in the world. You know, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It comes down to less mistakes, discipline, very costly, like what Ireland did to South Africa. So it's going to be a game like that.
Yeah. Okay, before we get to our final quarterfinal that we'll be looking at, it's time for our in memoriam section where we remember a rugby great who's passed on. And this week it's a very special man who left an indelible mark on everyone who met him. Sometimes it was the palm print from his fend. Often it was his broad smile. We're talking about a player that most people around the world know as Vainga Tuingamala. Sireli, your memories of him?
Yeah, it's just a legend like Kempo. You know, as wingers, we look up to the legend of wingers around. You know, it's sad to lose someone so special who impact lives of island wingers as well. So it's really peace to the family.
Tuilangi, he was one of our real heroes, eh?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Inga the winger, famous name. Yeah. And I had a memory with him as Michael Jones was our coach, Mount Samoa, my early days. So Inga was coaching the wingers, high balls. And as the session go on, I couldn't catch the ball, one or two. And Inga turned around, Tolly, is this guy gonna catch any ball? And since then, every time we met, they say, oh, you're getting better and better every game. You're the man, you're the man. But you remember the training the other day? You didn't even catch the ball. Yes, Inga, because I was scared of you. And he's a top man. Yeah. He's a very nice man. Yeah. And rest in peace, legend.
Yeah. Campo, you marked him.
Yeah, I did. And Jonah. Wherever I was, those guys followed me. If I'd go the other wing, I said, guys, can you go somewhere else? Leave me alone.
Any memories about Inga?
Yeah, look, I was fortunate to play against these guys, and in the World Cup '91, I didn't get to play against Winger because I thought Alex Wiley made a big mistake by not picking him in that semi-final. I had a lot of opportunities to play Inga, and the one that really stood out was I think it was early 90s, and the night before in the hotel I get a knock on the door and there's this envelope. And I look at the envelope and it's Inga, top half his body, and down the bottom it said, you'll see the bottom half tomorrow in the game. I thought, okay. So obviously in the game Inga ran at me a few times and I think he passed off the score. And there's a great photo of me and him walking off arm in arm, because that's the rugby for us, that was like those days. We all knew each other, we all respected each other. That's one of the memories, but as a player, as a guy off the field, and that's the mark of a man after you meet, you have a couple of drinks and have a great time, and that's the memories.
From the village of Whaliasi'o, we moved to Auckland when he was 4, grew up in West Auckland, a stalwart for Ponsonby in Auckland. He was the first player born in Samoa to represent the All Blacks. He was the first player to score a try worth 5 points. This was in '92 in a game against Australia. In rugby, he played over 100 games for Newcastle, 19 caps for the All Blacks, 23 caps for Manu Samoa. He also enjoyed a stellar career in rugby league, over 100 games for Wigan, played for Tor Samoa in the 1995 Rugby League World Cup. For our in memoriam this week, we remember the wonderful Fesolai Vainga Tuingamala.
Fox gives it to Inga. Tuingamala is through. Lovely run by Tuingamala. Oh, that's a super try by Inga the winger. Inga Tuingamala.
And now to the final quarter that we're looking forward to. It's a team that carry all the hopes from the South Pacific. Fiji versus England.
Yes.
How do you see this one playing out? Of course, your little brother would play for England.
Yes. Look, Fiji, they got some quality players.
Yep.
They can play from anywhere. Those outlet games, short lines. And look at England. They haven't got a solid combination in the midfield.
Yeah.
10, 12, 13. They keep changing every game.
Yeah.
So
'cause that was England's top team that played Samoa.
It was, yes, it was. But if Fiji play the flair of their games, it's gonna be really, really hard to stop.
Yeah.
The English boys, yes.
Yeah. It was funny watching your little brother play against Samoa. It felt like he was taking it easy. I mean, of course, he plays hard for England, but you could feel that he was kind of...
Against the brothers.
He felt for the brothers.
He felt for the brothers. That love, 1% love of the Samoan blood.
Campo, how do you see this one playing out?
I think Fiji made a mistake by playing them before the World Cup and winning. I think England realise now Fiji is not easy. I hope Fiji can win. I really do. I think it'd be great for world rugby.
Yeah.
But also it'd be good for the Fiji in the islands, because this is the first time I think a team, well, Samoa got picked, I think in 91 they got through to the...
91 and 95. So that was the amateur era.
I know, but still, this is, you know, an opportunity, and they've just got to just go out there and go for it. Don't wait, you know, make it happen.
Sireli, you were a teammate of Fiji coach Simon Reiwailui for 7 years at Racing. Would he have been a bit worried about that game against Portugal, and how do you think he'll be trying to get the boys back on track?
I think one of the main areas that you have to focus in is the basic stuffs, you know, of the game.
Yeah.
And how, I think you have to worry too how you mentally prepared for this game. I think it's one of the areas that you look to, even with the senior players as the captain as well, you know, to step up the game against England. You know?
So you still got the faith?
Yes, I still got the faith.
Yep.
They have to go, regroup, reset, refocus, and bring on England on the quarterfinal.
Yeah. Tuilangi, you're, it's a family business.
As always.
And you've got your little brother in there. Of course, we want the islands to do well. In your heart of hearts, what do you think's going to happen?
I think I'll go with my brother. You know, it's really tough, like last week, playing against your home country. It's the whole of Samoa against him. So now it's the whole of the islanders against him. You know, I'll support you. I'll support you, brother. Don't you worry.
You're a good big brother. Okay, well, that's our show. Thank you to our guests. Thank you, brothers, for your presence. Amazing to have all three of you on the show. Campo, travel safely.
Thank you.
Sireli, all the best with your sevens cap back in Fiji next week. Tuilangi, you'll be back next week, where we will be joined by our guest Christian Cullen and Peter Alatini. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the quarterfinals. Take care of yourselves and each other. And we'll see you next week for Rugby World Cup on Island from right here in beautiful Samoa.
What's the score? That's what I'm saying.